Okay. This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 8, 2025, and was posted on Borough Hall website at www.hbborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South 5th Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. The fire exits are to my left and right of Council Chambers. Now we move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss Sandy, can you please lead us in the pledge? It is totally your night tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here. Councilmember George.
Here.
Councilmember Hill.
Oh, here. I didn't hear you.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Here.
Council President Chohan.
Here.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Here.
Councilmember Vargas.
Here.
Borough Attorney Shaw. Here. Borough Administrator Rivera.
Here.
Honors, awards and presentation. And tonight we have a proclamation. That's why the room is buzzing tonight with all these young people. And they have so much energy, which I wish I had a bit of it. And it's someone that have nurtured them, have been there for many years, and has been a pillar in our town. And I'm gonna ask Councilmember Jason Polsonic to please read the proclamation for Yellow Brick Road, daycare and school.
Thank you, Mayor. So when we first began to talk about putting together a proclamation to honor Miss Sandy for all of her incredible work towards to benefit so many families in this town, I asked Elsie, the mayor, really more insisted that she let me have the honor of reading the proclamation. So without further ado, whereas the Yellow Brick Road, affectionately known as YBR Daycare and Preschool, is an early childhood institution in Highland Park that serves as a beloved second home for children. And whereas through its storied history, approximately 4,000 children have journeyed along the Yellow Brick Road path thanks to Sandy Jones and her predecessors, former owners Vicky Zara and Grace Corleo and their teams. And whereas YBR was established over 40 years ago and was founded as a full-time preschool with Over the Rainbow, Half-Day Preschool, and Baby Brick Infant School until Sandy Jones acquired the schools in 2013 and unified them. And whereas under her leadership, Sandy Jones converted what was then an existing play and storage building into the baby cottage, nurturing an even closer knit community of super babies, tiny titans, wonder kids, and their families. And whereas since joining YBR in 2000, Sandy Jones, affectionately known as Miss Sandy, began implementing her teaching philosophy and led a team of incredible teachers. Miss Angela, Miss Anna, Miss Dorothy, Miss Sarah, Miss Jessica, Miss Kristen, Miss Rayham, and Miss Sarah, many of whom call Highland Park their home, that nurture and support one another as well as the children and their families. And whereas Sandy Jones is more than an ordinary teacher, she's a Wonder Woman who truly loves her profession, the YBR families, and her team of teachers, and is passionately devoted to caring for young children and helping them to explore and build skills and confidence. And whereas witnessing students learn, play, and grow as kind humans is heartwarming for any teacher, and Miss Sandy is especially honored to be part of so many children's lives and grateful to all YBR families and hardworking teachers that have made YBR a magical place. And whereas daycares and schools lay the foundation for a strong community while teachers craft a blueprint for each child's learning and grow. And whereas the tiny humans that pass through the doors of YBR will be its final graduating class when the school closes on February 28th, 2025. And whereas it's altogether fitting and appropriate to recognize Sandy Jones and extend the deepest appreciation and admiration for her and her teachers for their profound contributions to Highland Park children and their families who make treasured memories at Yellow Brick Road Daycare and Preschool throughout its decades-long legacy. Now, therefore, I, Jason Stone, on behalf of Elsie Foster, Mayor of the Borough of Highland Park, New Jersey, do hereby recognize and thank Sandy Jones and her staff for their remarkable record of service to the children and parents of the Borough of Highland Park, and wish them all much success in their future pursuits. In witness thereof, I dare to set my hand this 4th day of February 2025. I guess we could.
Can all the families come up and we get a great picture with Miss Sandy? Well, maybe we should sit and Miss Sandy stand in front of you also, because we really have a full house tonight. We get some with the staff, and then we'll get with all the supporting cast afterwards. Sure. This table is here, so it's not. This way.
Okay. Over here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Real quick, we have one more with Pete.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is my friend. I only worked here for like 2 years. Yeah.
Right here.
Where's Daddy? What in Ellie's hair?
It definitely is, definitely. You poured in a lot of love, you're receiving a lot of love.
Thank you very much. On behalf of all the. Every day I'm busy. Thank you so much.
All the best. I would hate to see you all go, but I do understand that you have to leave. So the ones need to get to bed.
Like this way.
I run a big dinosaur.
Thank you.
We have a big night tonight, and now we're gonna move on to the swearing in of Norm Shammy as our acting fire chief. And Norm and family, meet me down there. Phil, would you like to join?
I'm sorry.
Mayor, can I just say a couple quick things before we swear him in?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know if you all can hear me.
We should get turn this way so we don't have our backs to folks.
My name is Rick Abrams. I'm the police chief in town. I was recently made the public safety liaison, so I helped the borough coordinate with the fire department first aid area. It's been my pleasure to know Norm for my entire career of 21 years. We've been through some pretty fun calls together. A lot of thinking on our feet, a lot of working well together, and I've known Norm to be very professional, very capable, and he cares more for this town than just about anybody I've ever met in my life. I am excited and proud to be able to be here today when Norm gets sworn in as the fire chief. And it's through the work of the borough, the volunteer fire department, and Norm, and the paid guys to try to come up with this process that we have now, where Norm can take the helm and lead us into the next step of Highland Park Fire Department. So I'm proud of him, I'm excited for him, and Norm, congratulations.
Family, you want to come from also?
I'm old.
I will. Okay. I, Norm Shammy,
I, Norm Shammy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of acting fire chief
of acting fire chief
with the Highland Park
with the Highland Park
Volunteer Fire Department
Volunteer Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the state of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the government established
and to the government
in the
established
United States
of the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people. So help me God. All
Congratulations.
right.
Abrams. Yeah, okay, sorry. Abrams, get over it. Abrams works, it's good.
All right.
Can we bring the entire fire
Oh, yeah,
department up
guys,
and get
come
some
on, guys,
pictures?
Come on.
Or maybe we should come down to you guys and get the pictures that way.
They're better off just sitting up there.
Yeah, you can stay up there and then let's move it this way and then we get pictures in, because I think we'll get more pics in. This way.
I think we're all.
Yeah, I think we can fit better. Norm, no, I think you guys will stay here and then they're in that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get to pick up the expensive bag, I get to keep it.
Use it now.
Cheese.
Pork rinds.
All right, there you go. Good. All right. All right.
Congratulations.
Mayor, thanks.
I don't think we've ever had a picture of all of you together. From that, I don't take one of those pictures.
We're gonna take a couple of minutes because there is cake and some refreshments. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to take some pictures, head on out and enjoy the refreshments.
Phil, we just want. Yeah, we need to change. Phil, what do you want me to do? Just take a picture of the. Okay.
Thank you guys for.
It's just Perfect.
All right. Thanks.
All right, over here. Carry on.
I'll be looking for them soon. I'll be looking for them soon. I'll be like.
It's funny because you're getting started.
I just let myself go. Thank you. Should I call? Yeah. Do I need some? I don't have.
Thank you very much. It hasn't sunk in yet. That's definitely bittersweet. 30 years.
Nice. You doing well? You liking the new gig?
Very nice. Okay. Good.
Thanks, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a lot for this.
Yes.
Congratulations, sir.
Hey, big guy.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
Good seeing you. All right, take care. What good?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now the big excitement is over. Now back to our regular schedule meeting. Approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve minutes from January 7, 2025, reorganization meeting, January 21st, 2025, regular meeting, and January 28th, 2025, work session meeting as distributed.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
And now we move on to council report. Councilmember Vargas.
Hi, my name is Norma Vargas and I head the Recreation and Art portfolio. And here's my report. I did bring some props today that I will show you as I go along. Bear with me. Okay, there are, from the Arts Commission, there are these nice Highland Park t-shirts that are available for sale for $10. Nice. They will be available at Over the Moon kiosk once the farmers market kicks off this February 21st. 21st. And there are also these nice calendars that they have for sale. And they will also be available, I believe, at that kiosk. But if you do want to purchase one of these ahead of time, you can email the Arts Commission at AC, that's the letter AC, at hbora.com. Also in reference to the Windows of Understanding, which is an ongoing collaboration with the Zone 16 Center, the Pride Center, the Brunswick Cultural Center, and a collective of organizations here in Middlesex County. They will have its closed reception during featuring works of art inspired or made by the youth in our community at the Highland Park Library on March 26th, so stay tuned for that. There will also be a joint event with Who's My Neighbor, titled What is Love? And that is this coming Saturday at Pino's between 6 and 8. Tickets are $20 and $10 for college students. To reserve a seat, the information can be found on the Facebook pages, or any questions can be directed to ac@hgborough.com. This is their second big and joint event meant to engage the community in conversation, so stay tuned for more happenings, because I believe they will be doing more of those. The community center, they have several events coming up. They have the Valentine's Day luncheon on Tuesday, February 11th at 12 p.m. with live entertainment by Richie Santa, Elvis, a tribute to the king. That should be fun. Lunch is going to be catered by TJ's Pizza, and there will be kosher options available upon request. They'll also be having a Matter of Balance program, which will run between February 18th and April 15th. The program is designed to reduce the fear of falling and improve the activity levels for older adults. And the program will include 8 two-hour classes for small groups led by trained coaches. On the Department of Aging, their regular activities and classes are ongoing for this month, and they will include exercise with Nancy on Mondays at 9:15, between 9:15 a.m. and 10:15. They have the winter Zumba goal sessions on Wednesdays, 9:15 to 10 a.m. and Fridays, 11 to 11:45. They have Tai Chi, art club painting classes, and their on-site podiatry appointments are the fourth Tuesday of every month at 1 p.m. Bingo is every Tuesday at 12:15, and they will have also they have lunch and friends with Mondays and Wednesdays, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., and which is a kosher lunch program sponsored by the Jewish Family Services, as is the Breakfast with Friends on Fridays between 9 and 11, also sponsored by Jewish Family Services. The Recreation Department is busy with over a dozen programs coming up this spring, including youth programs such as table tennis, chess, dance with Fresh Theater Arts, Rovers, soccer clinics, and new to the rec center coming up is going to be girls wrestling. Registration for summer camp is going to kick off on March 1st. And the Highland Park Gives and Youth Scholarship Forms will be going out to families at school this week. When you receive them, please note that there is a hard deadline for March 15th, so if you have any questions, please reach out to them. Another more adult programming coming up will be fitness, Tai Chi, yoga, classes, basketball, soccer, and volleyball. For more information to register for these events, please go to the Department of Recreation's website, highlandparkrec.com. Okay, Zone 16 Center. The workshops for the Windows of Understanding are still ongoing, and as I mentioned before, this was a collaboration with the Art Commission and with local artist Alfred Dudley. Also, Zone 6 Director Ashton Burrell is bringing back gym nights in the next few weeks, and the college prep program for juniors in high school will kick off in March. For more information on this, please email Ashton Burrell at ahburrell@hgborough.com. And citing news, the Historical Commission applied and were accepted to the New Jersey Council on the Humanities Community History Grant Project. The commission members will attend a series of training workshops, which will hopefully give them the opportunity to qualify for a $5,000 grant in order to work on a community history project, such as interviewing locals on Highland Park history. That's still in the works, so stay tuned for more information. Finally, as a reminder, our community service center still offers daily transportation to grocery stores and medical appointments, as well as a multitude of services, including access to a social worker, Nicole Health, who can provide advocacy and referrals to social programs such as healthcare. Please reach out to their staff with any questions at 732-712-2281. And that is my report for tonight.
Councilmember Hale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Fairly quick tonight. Couple things. I mentioned that the last meeting that through the neighborhood participation program, first of all, Matt Hale, and I chair the Economic Development Committee. I mentioned last time that the neighborhood preservation program, through that we've been able to purchase something called Placer AI, which is a way of tracking who's coming to Highland Park for businesses. So that it gives using cell phone data, It gives really, really amazing information about who's coming to our businesses, where they're coming from, and it's going to be a really, really great tool. We've sort of just been diving into it, figuring out all of the bells and whistles that this new tool has. But if you are a business owner in Highland Park, if you are interested in understanding who's coming to your business, when they're coming, when they're not coming, those types of things, this is going to be a great tool. We're going to be able to offer this to all the businesses in Highland Park, so they can know who their customers are and know who their customers aren't. So it's going to be a great tool. If you are a business and you're interested in getting a report about your business or your area or something like that, please reach out to me or reach out to Latuja or Terry, and we will be able to work with you very shortly on creating those individualized reports as well as reports for the whole town. Other things about the MVP, as part of our stakeholder planning committee, we have moved forward with some of our budget items and some of our ideas. One of the things I just want to briefly mention, we still have to go through a process with the county for this, but we're looking to purchase the snowflakes rather than rent them. Currently, the snowflakes that are all up in town, we rent them every year, and so we get what we get. We don't get upset, but if we purchase them and we're able to store them, there's a different way of doing it. So we're very excited that as cool as the snowflakes are this year, they're going to be even better next year. So that's important. The farmers market, as my colleague Norma said, is opening for the first time this year on February 21st from 11 to 4. So bundle up and it's snow or shine. So whatever you can do, just come on out and start with the farmers market. One other thing that is of note, this Thursday, I'm going to be going on the Chamber of Commerce Walk to Washington train, which is a train that starts up north and then slowly picks people up and heads to Washington. So it is filled with businesses, elected officials all over the state, but it's really about business networking. And so the goal of this train is to just meet as many businesses as possible and tell them all about the wonderful things of Highland Park. So it's should be an exciting trip. We do have a couple things that are important movement in town. A lot of really great stuff happening or happening shortly. The Grill House, which is where the Park Place used to be, is in the middle of a sort of a soft opening, but it's going to be up and running fairly soon. Jerusalem Pizza has submitted their plans to the planning board that they need in order to be able to open. That they're going to go to the planning board later this month. And then Ubre's is moving up to PK Auto up on Woodbridge Avenue. So the signs are up. There's a really cool looking old truck in the beginning of PK Auto, but Ubre's should be headed up to Woodbridge Avenue very, very soon. So lots of really great things going on. Again, if you're a business and you're interested, there's a lot of resources that we're able to bring. So if you are a local business or know someone who's in a local business, please reach out to us and we'd love to help. And then I'm just going to end by saying thank you and congrats to Sandy for all of her great work over the years. And then, Norm, you just have to say, Norm! Every time I see him, I want to do that because he's that kind of guy. He's the guy you want to hang out with, but also someone you really trust with our fire department. So thank you very much for that. And congrats to both. That's my report.
I think you forgot one more thing. February 18th.
February 18th, yes, I did. Thank you very much. Thanks, Coach. February 18th, we're having another event for businesses. As I mentioned this last time, but the county and the state and the economic development activities that New Jersey and particularly the county are doing in terms of grant programs, in terms of loan programs, in terms of business development, relocation programs. It really is amazing the number of different programs that they're having. It's almost overwhelming with all the different things. So we're putting together a meeting for all businesses on the 18th of February. It's on our website to take a look at that, where businesses can come and learn about these opportunities, both at the county and the state level. So again, if you are a business and if you are interested in upgrading your webpage or
moving to a webpage, or a whole bunch of other things. This is really a wonderful opportunity to meet with economic development authorities that really are, have a lot of money that they are looking to spend, and they'll help you through that process. So thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Councilmember Hirsch.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, water was at my feet. Good evening, everybody. My name is Matthew Hirsch. I chair the Public Works and Public Utilities Committee. Really nice to see so many people here tonight. It's nice when it feels like a celebration, and I did just want to echo my gratitude and thanks to Sandy Jones, otherwise known as Miss Sandy. She was one of the first people that we knew when we moved to Highland Park in 2008. We had an infant at the time, and Sandy and her team, Miss Angela, who I didn't get to say hi to, and Miss Sarah, really helped help a lot of parents in Highland Park become parents, learn how to be better parents, help cultivate their children, and most important, provide a safe space for our children, particularly as new parents when it's the first time you're letting go of your baby, leaving them in the care of somebody else. And to be able to do that and to have that trust a mere blocks away from where we live, I think is really powerful and speaks a lot to, really what Highland Park, represents, not only geographically, but also the level of investment and care that, our care providers put into their work. Sandy, has provided an enormous amount to Highland Park, and certainly my kids all benefit from it. So now, as from a young parent to a late 40s, middle ager with high schoolers, it's I look back at those times, really in amazement, thinking, wow, where did the time go? But then also, thank God we had, strong support network in Highland Park that we could all benefit from. And I think one of the jobs of, the roles of the council and other institutions in town and other support systems is to make sure that everybody has those opportunities, that everybody has access to, good daycare, and that everybody knows the opportunities that are in front of them. And if they're not, that we could that we're able to create those. So, many thanks to Sandy, and I look forward to her continued involvement in town. But thank you, Councilman Pistonik, for advancing that. It is really meaningful. It's very, very emotional. So I just wanted to give thanks to Ms. Sandy and obviously Chief Shammy. He's not here, but it's an amazing turn of events for the fire department. I think they will really benefit from the chief's leadership. I got to spend some time with the chief and some of the firefighters a couple Saturdays ago. I got to play pool. That's a great record, and it was a really nice mural too. So really good news all around. And I think some of the things on the agenda tonight are indicative of other areas of progress. But specifically on Public Works, I just wanted to report a few things. We have monthly numbers that we report out when it comes to collections, when it comes to snow removal, repairs, and so forth. So I figured this would give a good idea of what our Department of Public Works does outside of what you visibly see, which may be trash and recycling removal, snow removal, maintenance, and so forth. It's a lot more. It's that, which is a lot, and it's a lot more. So sanitation, to date, this is for January, so all of these are year to date so far, but over 300 tons of garbage collected over 9 collection days, all delivered to the Middlesex County landfill. Recycling, to date for January, 83.3 tons collected over 9 collection days, delivered to Colgate Paper Stock Incorporated in New Brunswick. There's a frustrating rumor out there that I keep hearing that we do not recycle, or that our material does not get recycled. Items 1 and 2, if when in your recycling bin, they do get recycled. They've been to the recycling plant, the Colgate recycling plant in New Brunswick. It is separated and sorted, and it's stacked up into really cool cubes. And if anybody ever wants a tour, we'd be happy to venture over there with you. Last fall, we took a trip there with our environmental commission, and it really is eye-opening because it shows the level of work that goes into this. It is true that towns are not making as much money on recycling anymore because of changes in the industry. But your materials do get recycled. So if anybody says that, it's like, no, because the Colgate recycling bin. Now, if you do put your recycling in your garbage, it will get collected with trash collection. Street sweeping. 9 days of street sweeping service, 175 miles of roads swept this month. And also year to date, 17 loads of material, 76.5 cubic yards of material or debris removed this month alone. Work orders or resident concerns, 25 orders or complaints were submitted over in January, 25 work orders completed, none still open. Fleet maintenance is a big part of what Public Works also does. 17 vehicles serviced and repaired by our mechanic. 7 public works vehicles, 6 police vehicles, 2 fire apparatuses, 2 code vehicles, and 2 public works equipment were serviced and repaired. 48, just over 48 tons of leaves were collected. Tree maintenance, we do in-house tree maintenance. There was no tree maintenance this month. That will make my team on the Shade Tree Advisory Committee very happy. Sign repair, there were 7 signs that were repaired or replaced, including 2 street names and 3 no parking, and then 1 other sign. Sorry, and 4 replacement posts were installed. 17 potholes were filled, and 1 ton of 17 potholes were filled using 1 ton of hot mix asphalt used for pothole repairs. If you do have a pothole, if you see it, don't wait for the town to respond. Be proactive and let us know. Alert us, and DPW will be out there to fill that pothole. These are stopgap measures. In the winter months when there's a lot of extreme cold and freezing, and then cracking in the asphalt, especially when there's plows. Those potholes will hopefully be replaced by new fresh roads at some point if it's a particularly pothmarked pothole. But please report it, and it will be addressed. The Public Works and Public Utilities portfolio also includes Sustainable Highland Park. And Sustainable Highland Park will be hosting its annual Earth Day event on Sunday, May 4th at North 3rd and Raritan Avenue, just like last year. And this is part of Main Street Highland Park Street Fair. I'm sure you will hear a lot more from Councilman Hale about. And the reason why I mentioned that, though, is because we are planning now. We actually had our first planning meeting last night for the Earth Day event, and it's going to be terrific. I mean, last year there was a EV installation. There were no compost, no waste food trucks, and games, activities for kids, and it's going to be the same this year, and it will be a lot of fun. Other events, Sustainable Highland Park's winter programming at the Teen Center is taking place right over here at 600 Benner Street. And let me just tell you a few of those things. The No Waste Valentine's Day Arts and Crafts Night is Thursday, February 13th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Teen Center. Join us, please, for a sustainable Valentine's Day by learning how to create gift boxes and use greeting cards, fold origami boxes, make custom envelopes, learn flower preserving tips, and craft unique collage collage cards. Excuse me. Supplies will be provided, but we encourage you to bring your used greeting cards and collage supplies from home to make this a more sustainable event. And the Highland Park Library will also join us that night with a craft of making pom-poms or yarn. So a lot of fun. Sustainable Highland Park is really gearing up for the spring. They also oversee our community cleanups. And the next community cleanup is Sunday, February 16th at 10 a.m. to noon. Go to, pardon me, sustainablehighlandpark.org. I couldn't remember if it was Highland Park Sustainable or Sustainable Highland Park. So on there, you'll find additional resources, dates, and more information on the items that I mentioned. Their next Sustainable Highland Park meeting is, and there's a free children's clothing swap on Thursday, February 27th from 7 to 9:30 p.m. and Sunday, March 2nd from 2 to 5 p.m. also at the Teen Center. The next meeting is Wednesday, February 26th at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom. Our meetings are on the 4th Wednesday of each month, except in November and December, which are the 3rd Wednesdays of each month. Please check out the Borough calendar, www.hboro.com, and check out sustainablehighlandpark.org for more information. The Environmental Commission We'll meet on Zoom tomorrow at 8 p.m. Go to www.hbvoro.com for the link. The Shade Tree Advisory Committee, which I mentioned before, will meet on Zoom on Wednesday, February 12th at 7:30 p.m. Go to www.hbvoro.com for the link where we will be discussing our 2025 goals. Speaking of 2025, I did just want to say a few things about this year, and we have there's a pretty robust gubernatorial debate going on right now. And this is not party specific. There's the Democratic debate occurred a few nights ago on Sunday, and then there's a Republican primary debate taking place tonight. Both of those are on YouTube, sponsored by New Jersey Globe and Rider University. And I would strongly encourage everybody to check those out, because it's less of a debate, but more of a discussion on the substance of the issues that are facing New Jerseyans, particularly now with extreme changes taking place, at the federal government, and how the state needs to adjust, adapt, and really be out in front of a lot of potential resources that we may be losing. One of the main issues that I look for, from our candidates, is the ability is improving the ability for municipalities to better improve quality of life by making it easier to procure resources and equipment that improves quality of life. And this means making it easier to make improvements on places like Route 27, which is also Raritan Avenue, which is our main street, but also a state road. It means being able to more easily weigh in on implementing traffic pattern changes, landscaping, beautification efforts, lighting, and so much more. And it also means that while we might support policies from the state, local implementation can be challenging. And living up to the state's universal, like living up to the state's universal pre-K mandate, for example, a necessary and important goal that municipalities had to really figure out on their own. We need to make sure that towns have the ability to act on good policies from traffic. We also need to think regionally when it comes to things like transportation, infrastructure planning, housing. And the goal is to empower smaller municipalities so they can receive a proportional level of resources that larger municipalities enjoy. Obviously, immigration, housing, transit, consumer costs, and how New Jersey will stand up against some of the more damaging policy changes at the federal level are front and center. And from a day-to-day standpoint, these are the issues that we will need to hear about from our candidates. It's an all-of-the-above approach, and I look forward to continued advocacy for Highland Park and really looking for the areas where we need to benefit from. And I would encourage all of you to engage in the process as well. We do need a governor who can couple navigating New Jersey's federal advocacy in an era of deep budget cuts with addressing local needs where it's difficult to even spend money on procurement due to home rule. I did just want to mention another thing, because I think it would be irresponsible as an elected not to talk about some of the concerns regarding federal funding on the federal level. One of the executive orders from President Trump, M2513, which is now rescinded and scrubbed from the White House website, would have halted spending on things like school meals, cancer trials, Medicaid grants, like money, the money follows the person program, special education, including personnel, preparation and research, vocational rehabilitation, housing assistance, childcare. We just honored Miss Sandy. These things don't happen in a vacuum. Childcare, adult protective services, Veterans Administration grants, state and national organizations funded by federal dollars, protection and advocacy agencies, Developmental Disability Council. And excuse me, Council, I appreciate your indulgence. This is the Council in members' time to talk about these things. So I really do appreciate this. More on the list: University Centers of Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, Centers for Independent Living, State Independent Living Groups, Resource Centers for people with paralysis, limb loss, traumatic brain injury, Disability Innovation Fund awards, parent training and information centers, grants from the Office of Disability Employment Policy, Special Olympics, cooperative agreements through the Centers for Disease Control to organizations working on epilepsy, AIDS, blood disorders, and other chronic conditions, payments to universities for research grants and graduate medical education. In the nonprofit world where I work, by day I'm a housing advocate, and I do a lot of work in Trenton advocating for affordable housing across the state. The day that executive order came down was an absolute crisis. So if you're thinking of policy that is intended to maybe help or advance a goal, but the result is chaos, confusion, questions, fear, layoffs, loss of service, and potentially loss of treatment. And that's something that we have to really be guarded toward and really understand our role in this whole hierarchical government structure that we live in, which is why the governor's race is so important. Again, in the nonprofit world where I work, the announcement caused near layoffs and nearly halted funding for life-saving resources and initiatives. That is not normal. It is just not normal. And I can't stay up here and sit here and talk about all the wonderful things that Sustainable Highland Park is doing when we have a very real crisis brewing constantly, suddenly at the federal level. This executive order plowed through the purpose of any of those programs, instead stating, and I'm going to quote, "The use of federal resources to advance Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies is a waste of taxpayer dollars that does not improve the day-to-day lives of those that we serve." This was said by the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget in its two-page memo announcing the temporary halt. In 2009, I interviewed Xavier D'Souza Briggs, otherwise known as Zav Briggs. And at the time, he was the new associate director for general government programs at the Office of Management and Budget. And as a young professional then, that was really the first time that I really got a good feeling of what OMB does. And if you don't know what the Office of Management and Budget does, and I don't blame you if you don't, check it out. There's a lot of power there, there's a lot of authority there, and it's an extremely important agency. The qualifications for the position range, obviously, but Briggs came to the job with a deep community development background. He was vice president of the Ford Foundation, professor of sociology and urban planning at MIT, and much more. His book, The Geography of Opportunity, Race and Housing Choice in Metropolitan America, should be standard reading. So I looked at his words from that interview, and here's what he said compared to what we just heard from the current OMB. Quote, "We're out to put the president and his leadership team and the whole cabinet in a position to steer the machinery of government in a way that very quickly signals a turn on policy issues, a commitment to making government work again, rebuilding the public confidence, and a commitment to transparency around results. Nothing about Marxism, nothing about transgenderism, nothing about the Green New Deal, but a commitment to transparency and public confidence." Well, that's novel. And that's something that I think that we all try really hard to work toward up here. And it is difficult to do that when we have a lot of actors, a lot of our colleagues in government at the top and in between and everywhere else make it really difficult to instill that level of confidence and trust. But that's what we try to do here every day. We don't otherize, we don't name call, we don't denigrate. Instead, we talk about government working as best as possible. This council's record of defending immigrants is strong, and it started in 2016 with the municipal ID effort that was launched that year. Then in 2016, the first vote that I cast actually was endorsing that program. And in 2017, we passed the Inclusive Communities Act that upheld our rights as a community. Our communities now need to double down on their commitment to protect our neighbors. And this means supporting things like the Immigrant Trust Act for advocates at home. That's New Jersey Bill S 3672 A 4987. For example, our legislative 18 representatives, Senator Pat Diagnan, Senator members Shirley Stanley and Rob Karavinchek, co-sponsored this important legislation. So we can support it too. The Immigrant Trust Act would allow New Jerseyans to seek protection and support from state and local agencies without fear of deportation. Increasing trust in public agencies allows all people, regardless of immigration status, to seek public services that are essential to the health, education, and well-being of their families and the broader community. This builds a stronger, fairer, and more welcoming New Jersey for everyone. The Immigrant Trust Act would limit New Jersey's involvement in the federal detention and deportation system by creating new data, privacy protections for people who interact with state and local agencies, and by strengthening and codifying the separation between local law enforcement and federal immigration enforcement. You might have seen that one of the first agents out on behalf of the new administration's Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement was Dr. Phil McGraw, who was in Chicago. on ice raids. I don't think any of us knows what to make of it, but it was such a surreal experience because one of the people being detained recognized Dr. Phil and said, "You're Dr. Phil." And Dr. Phil said, "How do you know me?" And I was like, "You're Dr. Phil on TV." It is a truly bizarre world where we have celebrities, quote unquote doctors, who are now acting on behalf of our elected leaders to assist in immigration enforcement. Doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't stand for it if we did that here. You would not stand for it if we did that here, no matter how anybody feels about immigration. I have a few other items, but I think this is actually a good time to wrap it up. Yeah, because we talked about 2017, talked about how long it's been, since we, first had to deal with this level of disruption at the federal level, and the ways that municipalities and states have to respond, and the fact that we have to work together in lockstep and hear back from neighbors in the community, hear about the needs and hear about the supports that are either missing, need to be improved, or need to just simply exist in the first place. There's a lot of work ahead of us as a whole community to make sure that we are all safe, prosperous, and can live with dignity. And we really look forward to being there with you. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember George.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Phil George. I'm liaison to public safety. The Public Safety Committee report to February. First, I wish for all our residents to feel a part of our diverse and delightful community for Black History Month. Understanding where we all come from makes all of us safer, more informed, and much closer to each other as a community. Turning to local news, the Police Department Pet Products Donation Program, which we spoke about last month, in conjunction with the Edison Animal Shelter, was very successful. Donations from all of you for animal-friendly products were donated to help provide care for cats and dogs that are under the care and possibly long-term care of the shelter. The chief tells me that several SUV loads were delivered recently, and the donations were very welcome. As you all know from our ceremonies tonight, the fire department and all of the town welcomes Chief Shannon to the head of the fire department. But members are still needed. The number to call is 732-752-4323. Look for the ad on the borough's website as well. The chief has the depth of experience to lead our fire department at this time, and the volunteers, and also the newness of ideas. Sorry, my screen is doubling up here. I don't know what to do about it. The chief has the depth of experience to lead our full-time and volunteers and the newness of ideas to reach a new cadre of firefighters. The library has gone out for proposals for installation of the security cameras, which are already on site, which should wrap up the project. The board authorized the purchase of a pergola for installation of the outdoor seating areas as part of the Kushner Estate Grant, and the installation will probably take about 6 months from ordering to construction to shipping and final installation. Finally, I just want to mention that SWAC had a discussion, and a number of resident reports I've received are concerned about snow removal for walking safety. It certainly was an issue because our storms were not deep, but we had some extremely strange weather. So the Public Safety Committee will discuss the recent issues at its meeting next week. But I want to remind everyone, including our fellow council members, that the problem includes other committees, including Public Works Administration. So we'll have a report from Public Safety when we have those discussions and meetings. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Postle.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jason Sonic. I chair the Health and Human Services Committee. So within that portfolio, I have a couple of things to update on tonight. First, one Board of Health update, which is a continuation from my updates from last meeting, which is that the levels of the norovirus, aka stomach bug, COVID-19, influenza, flu, and RSV are still at high levels. So encourage everyone to take appropriate precautions, wash your hands, stay up to date on all recommended vaccines. Next, the Commission for Universal Access held its first meeting of the year using a new hybrid in-person and Zoom meeting format. And I'm pleased to report that everything went smoothly. That was a great relief. A couple of updates to report from that meeting. First, the Commission expressed concern about sidewalks not being cleared of snow, particularly on Raritan Avenue after the recent snowstorms we've had. This can make it difficult for people to traverse the sidewalks safely. So just would like to remind everyone of the importance of making sure their sidewalks are safe for people to utilize within a reasonable amount of time after the end of the snowstorm, and encourage anyone who sees uncleared sidewalks after a snowstorm to report it to the borough through the report a concern link on the borough website. Also, the Commission eagerly awaits the new community center bus, which will provide much needed transportation services for many in our community who are unable to transport themselves. I have let the Commission know that we have recently approved the funding for a replacement bus, and thank you again, Mayor Elsie, for making many attempts to try to do this on a very cost-effective basis in some sort of shared service arrangement with some of our neighboring municipalities. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything available that could work out. But we are working hard to bring a brand new electric bus as soon as possible to the community center. We're all looking forward to that. Next up, I'd like to talk about upcoming food distributions for those in need. First, free groceries will be available from HP Gives a Hoot every Tuesday this month and every Wednesday this month from 10 a.m. through 11 a.m. at the Zone 16 Center at 600 Fenner Street. And we have the Highland Park Food Pantry distribution on Thursday, February 13th and February 27th, and Saturdays, February 15th and February 23rd, which will take place at the Highland Park Community Center, 220 South 6th Avenue, right next to Borough Hall. Lastly, just wanted to note that on the agenda tonight, we have some wonderful volunteers up for appointment to the various boards and commissions that I'm either currently liaison to or had served as liaison to in the past. And I work closely with some of these folks. I just want to express thanks to Leanna, Pat, Tara, and Pauline for willing to step up and help make our community even better. And wait, I'm sorry, actually I said that was the last thing, but one little bonus thing I just wanted to say is thank you again. I can't thank Miss Sandy enough. She helped take care of my kids from about birth to, 6 months to about to kindergarten. We were Yellow Brick Road parents for almost 10 years, and I can't thank her enough. Provides extraordinary care and love to the children and families that they've served and this institution, and we're extremely grateful to have had her in our lives. Wish her all the best in retirement. And also, I just want to say congrats to Norm, who made an excellent fire chief. Didn't take care of my kids from 6 months to kindergarten, but we still definitely appreciate his service. And that's my report for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Council President Kim Cho-Han.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Stephanie Kim Cho-Han, and I'm the Chair of Finance. I also like to congratulate Ms. Sandy on her retirement. When I had my little one last year, everyone in town suggested I go see Yellow Brick Road. I was put on the waiting list, and she never called, so now I know why. But good luck with your retirement. So this evening, our agenda includes a shared service agreement with the city of Broadway regarding our tax assessor. I extend my gratitude to Broadway for collaborating with us on this cost-effective agreement. We remain open to discussions with other municipalities to explore avenues for mutual savings for our residents. And also, in the vein of finance, I would like to take a moment to share an excerpt from an article by John Ritmar, a budget finance writer for NJ Spotlight News. To be short, if a mass deportation effort that targets undocumented immigrants is carried out in force, New Jersey is likely to feel the effects. In all, there are an estimated more than 425,000 undocumented immigrants living in New Jersey, a group that contributes more than $1.3 billion in state and local tax revenue annually, according to a recent study from the Washington, D.C. based Institution on Taxation and Economic Policy. How state and local governments in New Jersey will make up for the lost revenue from deported immigrants, including sizable sales and property tax contributions through rents, is unclear. In New Jersey, the sales tax is the largest source of revenue for the state's budget's general fund, while property taxes are raised at the local level and serve as a primary source of funding for K-12 public schools. Quote, the bottom line is that New Jersey economy relies greatly on immigrant workers. The New Jersey economy would not survive if these immigrant workers went away suddenly overnight. And that quote is from Ram Devin, a professor of economics and global studies at Stockton University. So to our immigrant community, both documented and undocumented, you are woven in our HP community. We acknowledge your presence and stand in solidarity with you. And wishing everyone a happy Black History Month. In honor of this celebration, I would like to highlight the Mama's Den podcast. The Mama's Den serves as an unfiltered community that fosters authentic conversations and experiences from the perspective of 4 Black mothers. I had the privilege of attending one of their meetups a few weeks ago, and it was truly remarkable. I encourage you to listen to their podcast. If you have an opportunity this month, once again, that's the Mama's Den, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councilperson. Borough Administrator report.
Mayor, I don't have a report this evening, thanks.
Borough Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Would you like me to go through some of the procedure for the meeting? Sure. For many of you, it's been familiar that since last year, we've instituted new rules on how to conduct a meeting. So if there is anyone that's here in person or over Zoom, let me just quickly go through the public participation rules. For today's agenda, if you notice, number 10 is public participation. And if any member of the public has a question regarding any ordinances or resolutions that are on for vote today, you may come up to the mic, introduce yourself, and either ask a question or make a comment. Once every single person has had an opportunity to put their either question or comment on the record, the mayor, who is running the meeting, will close the public portion and then will either answer the questions or direct someone on the dais to respond to it. Now, after the public portion is closed, no member of the public can speak. Moving forward, if you notice on 11A and 11B, there are 2 ordinances for second reading. A member of the public may come up and comment about either one of those ordinances. And after the public portion is closed, once again, the mayor will direct either someone, she will either respond or direct somebody from the dais to speak. After the public portion is closed, a member of the public cannot speak. And the final is, if you look on your agenda, number 15, that's the second public participation. And any member of the public can speak on any topic that's relevant to the borough. And once again, the mayor will open it up to the public portion. Members of the public can come up, make their comment or ask a question. And then after everyone has finished, it will be closed by the council. And at that point, the mayor will either respond or direct someone from the dais to respond. And if once the public portion is closed, no member of the public can speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Borough Attorney. And now it's time for my very brief report. Want to start off that we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King Day with Zone 6. It was a robust program. It was an engaging program and informative. And I encourage everyone to try to make it next year to celebrate Dr. King and all his contributions that he paid in blood for, because Department of Civil Rights, it's now being overturned and uprooted. And that was paid by, as the National Black Anthem says, by the blood, the tears, and the sweat. And it seems like everything that Dr. King and others fought and worked and died for is thrown by the wayside. So we must unite as one nation. We must unite as one voice, because we're all in the struggle. That's in recognition of Dr. King's contribution. On another note, we celebrated Chinese New Year, and we had some really fun events this past week. And one of them was the high school students from Edison High School. They came out and they performed a wonderful dragon dance. It was really good. And then Salt and Wok, our local Chinese restaurant here in town, they provided all the Chinese meals for 2 days in a row. Just want to say thank you to Salt and Wok for all that they do. And last but not least, in recognition of Miss Sandy and Norm Shanny, our chief, I want to say they embody what is on my email page, a small town with people with huge heart. They have done so very well in Highland Park. And again, congratulations to both. And I know they will continue to serve Highland Park in the best way possible, and leaving us with something to remember. And I'm just gonna, this was said by Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court member. And he says, in recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the highest tribute. And I want to repeat, in recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the higher tribute. I think we all need to remember that as we go about our daily lives. That's my report. Now it's time for public participation. 21 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker, limited to items on this agenda. Comments from members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by those on Zoom. If anyone from the public wishes to speak, please come up to the microphone and identify yourself. Identify yourself, please.
Hi, Mary Botian. I wanted to ask you please to vote no on resolution 61 and 62, which are the third extensions for 2 more recreational marijuana dispensaries in Highland Park. That would bring the total up to 5 operating marijuana dispensaries, recreational THC stores. One of the things to keep in mind on this vote is that in the past year, Highland Park has had a 56% increase in DWIs, also known as DUIs. New Jersey law defines these as substances, not just alcohol, but also other drugs, specifying cannabis, including marijuana and edibles. Again, 56% increase in the past year. We currently have 3 operating recreational marijuana dispensaries. Please do not add 2 more. Vote no on those resolutions, 61 and 62. The other thing to keep in mind on these resolutions, again, in the interest of public safety, public trust, transparency, all of which I'm a big fan of, as you know, as Matt Hirsch was describing, this is a chart of the connections on one of these pot shops, again, on the resolution tonight, showing the connections of Mayor Gail Mittler, her son, and one of her t-shirt employees, all involved in this pot shop that's on your agenda tonight. Gail resigned her position as mayor December 31st, 2022. Her son, Stephen Mittler, put in an application 7 months before she left her position to be was listed as an applicant for the pot shop at 176 Woodbridge Ave and signed as property owner consent as well. The pot shop submitted $6,000 worth of checks to Highland Park while she was mayor for her son's location. None of this was publicly disclosed. The connections don't stop there. Again, at this same location where she ran her t-shirt business, 176 Woodbridge Ave, her employee, her operations manager, Arnie Weinberg, is listed as the co-owner and local operator for this pot shop. Her employee, again, none of this was publicly disclosed. This is very relevant to your vote tonight on these resolutions. Highland Park, this is not an economic impact zone. This would bring us to 5 operating marijuana recreational dispensaries in this town. I'd like to also offer each of you, before you vote, a copy of this chart, in particular to Norma, who's new and may not be aware of all of these particular connections. Would I be permitted to provide this to council members who are voting tonight?
You can provide it to our attorney.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Denholz-Lewandowski, and Melody. First, we want to thank you so much for recognizing Miss Sandy and Yellow Brick Road School, and obviously we're enrolled there. And besides thanking you, when I looked at the agenda, I was really surprised to see ordinance 25-102 to acquire the property that is Yellow Brick Road. And I didn't know that until the agenda came out, and it seems like a strange twist of fate to recognize Sandy at the same time that the town is acquiring the property. And as much as we want to celebrate Miss Sandy on retiring, it also feels like a bit of checkmate. And I just wanted to share how difficult it has been for all of the families to find out mid kind of school year that we have to find a new daycare, and enrollment is not available at lots of schools, and there's just a heartbreak of being separated from friends and teachers who we've grown to love. And as a taxpayer, I'm surprised to see that we're taking property off of the tax rolls, and I hope that it will become more productive. I wish we could have finished the school year at Yellow Brick Road instead of having the property purchased. I'd love to stay and hear more, but I'll have to watch it in the recap because it's getting late. But I do look forward to hearing more about what's happening and seeing that become something productive and valuable to all ages and stages of life. Is there anything you want to say about your school? Yeah. Do you love it? Yeah. And we got all dressed up for today just to celebrate her teachers. Yeah, with Queen Anna. All right, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I just wanted to check, so for this section of public participation, can we ask questions about not just the like ordinances that are being passed, but council reports that have occurred?
For right now, it's just limited to the resolutions and ordinances. You may come back for the second part of what you're requesting.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, please come up and announce yourself.
Hi, folks. And my neighbors. My name is Alex Dobrovolsky. I live at 315 Great Avenue. I've been here 55 years. I'm one of those old F. Yes, states, all right. You probably, I'm gonna say it. You're probably wondering, why is this old coot up here? Is he gonna lecture to us about the old times that he originally moved into town? Well, I moved into town in 1970. It was a different town back then. I was just shocked when I saw the cannabis dispensaries. I love the names, by the way. Dispensaries. And there are 3 of them in town, and we're stuck with it. It's a moot. To find other ones coming in, I think it's just a moot argument because they're here to stay. You have to kind of accept that. But I'm just shocked that we as a community allowed it to begin with. We're telling our young people, hey, it's okay to put this stuff in your bloodstream and put it in your lungs. I'm 85 years old. I still run marathons. I just finished officiating a game. And I can, there are very few people who can go up and down the floor with me because I've never smoked, I've never taken drugs, I've never taken cannabis. You know, you too can be 85 easily if you don't put that crap in your body or in your, you know, your lungs. This is the kind of things I think we have to show our young people. I'm really concerned about the young people, the kind of image we're giving these people with cannabis shops. And saying it's perfectly okay to have it there. It's a shock to me. I tell you, maybe I'm not with the times. I'm not the cool guy, right? I'm not with it. But personally, we're not showing a good image to the youth of Highland Park. I was the guy who started the soccer program here, and I've been involved with recreation and many other areas in this town, and it shocks the hell out of me where we've gone in terms of allowing and accepting, you know, the community and taking this junk into your body and into your bloodstream and your lungs. It almost puts tears to my eyes, I tell you, it really is. Because I moved into this town for educational purposes.
30 seconds.
One more thing. When I moved in here, I have 2 daughters, and I picked a town because we were ranked one of the 5 best school systems in New Jersey. You know where we are right now? 81st, okay, 81st. And our test scores are in the 10. We're way below the state average. That's not what I came into this town. And I've seen this town change so drastically. I wish we'd have a different frame of mind in terms of what you bring in this town and the kind of image you show the kids, our young kids here. I have spoken, folks. Thank you.
My name is Colleen Tyler, 142 North 6th Avenue, and I've been a resident here for 40 years. I also would follow up on the consent agenda items number 13A and B, which are 2.25-61 and 62. Resolutions of authorizing an extension of local support of a Class 5 retail license for Flora and also Blackburn. What caught my attention about this statement is the idea of local support for these to extend the licenses. I think the local support for what's happening in our town with the cannabis shops is in this room. I think this room is the local support. The council and mayor, the former council and mayor are the people who are responsible for what's happening. It's not the members of the community. The members of the community never had a chance to say or to give an input on what was happening. In fact, I have a list of 150 residents who objected to having any pot shop at all in Highland Park. This goes back to 2021 when this discussion first started. So it's a mistake to think that the town is supporting all these initiatives and all this what's happening. I want to read the state public question, which was put before the town on November 3rd, 2020. Do you approve amending the Constitution to legitimize the controlled form of marijuana called cannabis? Only adults at least 21 years of age could use cannabis. The state commission created to oversee the state's medical cannabis program would also oversee the new personal use cannabis market. Cannabis product would be subject to the state sales tax. If authorized by the legislature, a municipality may pass a local ordinance to charge a local tax on cannabis products. That is what the people of this town voted on. The idea of opening up a cannabis market in the state was approved. The people in this town never, ever voted to bring cannabis business into Highland Park. It was never put before the town in any shape or form. And there's certainly strong resistance to it even now, as the mayor and the council take the initiative to do what they want to, in spite of many opposing voices against it.
Carrie, anyone on Zoom?
I'm sorry, I lost. I do see one, excuse me, I do see a hand up, for those folks at home. Looks like Karen Nolik. I'm going to ask you to confirm that it is you. Oh, and why am I having trouble here? Please state your name.
Oh, yeah, this is Ken Analik. I'm Karen's husband. So I've been watching these meetings and I wanted to weigh in on something, if I may. It has to do again with the cannabis business. You know, we just at the beginning of this meeting, there was such a celebration of the youth and the yellow brick road and the teacher and so on and so forth. In 10 years, these kids are going to have exposure to marijuana outlets on Woodbridge Avenue, on Main Street. This is like Boardwalk and Park Place. These outlets are just going to be ubiquitous in town. We don't need 5 cannabis outlets. Again, I spoke at this meeting a couple of months ago or whatever it was. Again, I've been a physician for 50 years, and I can again state that cannabis is an entry-level drug. People who start with alcohol tend to stay with alcohol. People who start with cannabis tend to move on to other drugs as they get older. I don't think this is a good look for the town, and I would urge you people to vote against extending these contracts for these cannabis outlets. I just don't think this is good for the youth of town. I don't think it's good for the town. I don't think it's good for the atmosphere. I agree with the speaker before. I'll bet that this was never put to the town itself for its opinion. I bet this was done among council, and you may have the power to do this, but I really think it's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing for Highland Park. It's the wrong thing for our youth. And that's my 2 cents. That's it.
Anyone else?
No other hands up, Mayor. Just for the record, there are 7 attendees on Zoom.
Okay. Seeing that there's no more, may I have a motion to close public participation? Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Now we're going to move on to ordinance requiring a second reading. Clerk, can you please report an ordinance number 25-2099?
An ordinance repealing capital ordinance number 24-2081, adopted by the Borough Council on February 6, 2024, entitled Capital Ordinance Providing for Improvements to North 4th, Jennison Street, and Harper Street Project in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $609,980 from the Department of Transportation Municipal Aid Program. Therefore, to pay the cost thereof has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file.
Now it's time for public participation. If you wish to speak on this particular ordinance, please come up to the microphone and announce yourself. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. Anyone on Zoom?
No hands up on Zoom.
Okay, seeing no one, may I have a motion to close public participation on ordinance number 25-2099?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yeah.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Clerk, please report on ordinance number 25-21. I'm sorry. May I have a motion to accept or reject ordinance number 25-2099?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Okay, now we get there. Clerk, please report on ordinance number -25-2099. 2100.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Article 1, pet waste, wildlife feeding and litter, waste collection and disposal, illicit connections to create Chapter 356-8.1, which will regulate some pumps and pipe drain discharge control within the Borough of Highland Park, has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file.
Now it's time for public hearing on this particular ordinance. If you have any questions, please come up to the microphone. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. Terry? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to close public hearing on ordinance number 25-2100?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 25-2100?
Motion. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember George.
The sump pump ordinance sounds relatively innocuous, but people need to understand that sump pumps drain people's basements for flooding, but they also contribute a number of problems such as freezing and freezing up the roads. We've had many problems with that. And in addition, we are focused more and more and more on the importance of the water that flows in from our water supply, the water that flows from the skies and drains, and our stormwater management, which has become one of the most important issues before the state of New Jersey prior to the quasi clown event that happened in November with the federal government. But this is a very important step in controlling our stormwater management. I vote yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Ordinance required first reading. Clerk, please report on on introduction of ordinance number 25-2101.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 278-17, parking on street accessible parking spaces within the Borough of Highland Park by the Public Safety Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 25-2101?
So moved.
Authorized publication as required by law and set public hearing for February 18th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember George.
Just a word to the public. This adds two reallocated handicap parking spaces on North Third between Benner and Summit, and on North Fourth between Denison and Montgomery. These are not assigned or reserved spaces. They are available for the public. However, this is an area where people do have handicap needs, and when the spaces are available to the public in that area to use them, I vote yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Clerk, please report on introduction of ordinance number 25-2102.
Ordinance of the Borough of Highland Park in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the borough to enter into a purchase and sale agreement with 15 South LLC to acquire block 3001, lot 5 on the tax map of the Borough of Highland Park by the Economic Development and Planning Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 25-2102 to authorize publication as required by law and set in public hearing on February 18, 2025?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Now we move on to the consent agenda. The resolutions. May I ask members of the public, of the council, if they would like to remove any of the following consent agenda items or have those items pulled for a separate reading or separate vote?
No, Mayor.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the following consent agenda items? 13A through 13I.
So moved.
Second,
Councilmember George,
yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Councilmember Hirsch?
Mayor, I have questions about item 13B. I don't think I'm prepared to vote. Yes to all, abstain on B. We have to do a separate one? Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That was the question before.
Yeah, I,
Mayor, if I may. I think that, if Councilman Hirsch can re-identify the item that's for separate voting, we can do a revote on the consent agenda from X to B and then whatever comes after the one that's removed to the end, just to keep it clear in the record. Thank you.
So your 13B, that you would like, Councilmember Hirsch, you would like to have that removed, tabled temporarily? That's what you want to have separated out?
for a separate vote, yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, 13B.
My apologies.
It's tabled for now, and we're gonna go through the rest of the agenda with the minus of 13B.
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt or reject the following minus 13B?
So moved.
Roll call?
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik,
Yes.
and Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Okay, now we're gonna move to 13B, and it's ordinance number 25-25-62, resolution authorizing extension of local support for Class 5 retail license for Black Brown LLC to operate a retail cannabis business at 176 Woodbridge Avenue. Now I'm gonna do a motion. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Abstain.
Council President Kim Cho Han,
Abstain.
Councilmember Pistonik,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Abstain.
Now we move to appointments.
May I ask a question if it's still public comment while this is?
It's not public comment, is here, please?
Just so you know, rule of order means they have to give a reason for their abstention.
Our attorney,
We're at 3.
so it's 33.
So we need to break the tie. Thank you.
They have to give a reason for their abstention, rules of order.
Excuse me, ma'am. Mayor, if you may.
Borough attorney, your knowledge, you have something to say?
Mayor, it seems that we have 3 abstains and we have, seems to be a tie. Mayor, we do need a vote on your, decision as to 2562.
I vote to approve 2562.
Resolution passes.
Thank you. Now, we move to appointments to the Arts Commission, Leah Zamora. For Public Information, Marilyn Cruz, BOE Representative. Commission for Universal Access, Tara Canavera. Pat McKenna, former athlete and Rutgers member. Recreational Advisory Committee, Tara Canavera. May I have a motion to confirm?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Good volunteers, especially on the Arts Commission, which is really moving forward, yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes to all of them.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Human Relations Commission, Pauline Devonish as co-chair, no confirmation needed. And now it's time for the second public participation. 3 minutes per speaker on any topic, subject to conclude at 9 p.m. Comments from the members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by those attending via Zoom.
Record 207 Southwick Avenue. First, I want to thank the mayor and the council for
acknowledging my wife, my honor, and this annual dinner. Appreciate that. Worked very closely with many of you over the years, and I do appreciate all your support as a council and individually. There's a very important screening of a film this Sunday at Congress OE called Tragic Awakenings. I usually ad-lib everything I say, but this is too important, so I'm going to read a little blurb about it. The October 7th pogrom in Israel was the worst massacre of Jews since the days of the Holocaust. Yet rather than rally to the victim's side with empathy and compassion, the international community has confoundingly exploited with Jew hatred. Tragic Awakenings, a new look at the oldest hatred, is therefore a profound and timely documentary that delves deeply into the roots of anti-Semitism and provides sobering relations about the world's oldest hatred. Where does such an unbridled hatred come from? And can it be harnessed into a force for good? Tragic Awakenings answers these and so many other questions with unvarnished candor. And it says it's turning hatred into strength. So hopefully it's going to give us some kind of encouragement that things are turning and things are good in the world, as we know they really are. Also, I have a quick comment about public safety. I don't know if it's to you, Phil, or you, Matt. On North 4th, coming off of North 4th, there's no left-hand turn on Raritan from North 4th, but every time I'm there, I see a car's turning. I've noticed the sign that says no left-hand turn from 4 to 6, it's supposed to be from Raritan, is kind of facing North 4th. So I think people think that they only can't make that turn between 4 and 6, not realizing it's for Raritan. So you can look into that, I just observed that. And sorry, going back to this, I have a flyer if I can just hand out about Sunday's program, and you would all be my guest of honor of coming to be,
Michael, could you please leave them to our attorney? She'll just
Oh,
them later.
Sure, very good. Thank you very much, everyone.
Hi, everybody, I'm Kimberly Seaver. I live at 224 Wayne Street. I came here tonight because I saw a video on YouTube that I thought was kind of upsetting. There were some guys that I think they're mainly just internet trolls that go around trying to cause trouble so they can get videos and get clicks for it. But they were at our library asking to have LGBTQ books removed from the shelf. And I think that in the spirit of inclusivity that has been expressed by all of you this evening, I just wanted to ask that the council please support the library, don't cave into these trolls, and allow them to keep serving our LGBTQ neighbors. It's up to parents what their children read, and a lot of their rhetoric is very inflammatory and inappropriate in my opinion. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Jacob Moffett, and I live on Lincoln Avenue. In light of recent anti-immigrant speech and executive orders from the Trump administration, I wanted to ask you about the ways that Highland Park is working to protect its community. I understand that there are 2 resolutions in place that prohibit local law enforcement from working with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, under 287G program. I'd like to ask some questions and clarify the focus and breadth of what is established so far. And thank you also for bringing this up in some of the council reports. And Mayor Foster, I understand that you were one of the only council members back in 2017 to fight for stronger protections in this resolution by voting no to have more community input on the resolution. The resolution was passed in, I believe, May 2nd, 2017. It's titled "The Resolution Upholding Respect and Protection for Historically Discriminated Populations and Promoting Community Inclusivity for All Highland Park Residents." Resolutions before 2020 don't seem to be accessible on the HP Borough website. And I additionally want to ask that you'll reaffirm this or make it publicly visible in some way, preferably both in English and Spanish, in high visibility places, whether it's here at Town Hall, on the website, or possibly through some sort of flyering campaign. I also wanted to ask about some of the debate that happened during the original resolution, where people were debating about sanctuary city status, and I wanted to ask if there's been any progress on this since 2017. Is there any work on the resolution itself to give it more teeth or amendments, which is another thing brought up in the debate back in 2017? Is the Immigration and Refugee Task Force still present? Who is on it? We make this highly visible too. I didn't seem to be able to find any notice about it on the website except on Councilmember Matthew Hirsch's biography. And what other work will you commit to make our undocumented and documented community members feel safer? Thanks for your time.
Ellen Tyler, 142 North 6. I just want to circle back to the state public question number 1, the constitutional amendment to legalize marijuana, which I read earlier. This is from November 3rd, 2020. At the end of the statement, it says, if authorized by the legislature, a municipality may pass a local ordinance to charge a local tax on cannabis products. I know the state is collecting money from the sales, and I also believe Highland Park has instituted a, I believe it's 2% tax on the products sold in Highland Park. My question is, where is this money going? As I understand it, there was talk that the funds would go to offset senior citizens' property taxes for those at risk of losing their homes. What I would like to know, is that the case? Is this money that's being collected from marijuana sales going to this program? How many senior citizens have been identified in this category, and how much money have they received? That is my primary question. Related to that, I want to point out that these decisions made tonight, obviously by accepting the 2 resolutions that I mentioned earlier, extending support of Class 5 retail license for Flora and Blackburn. It's obvious that this town is turning into a marijuana headquarters. It's no longer, I would consider no longer a safe community for families. And this is very serious consequences. If we compare with our neighbors, Highland Park has ordinances for 6 cannabis shops, and Edison has 3, New Brunswick has 3. Highland Park has no limit on Class 6 delivery service locations and licenses. New Brunswick has 4, Edison has 7. Consumption lounges are permitted in all pot shops in Highland Park. They're prohibited in New Brunswick and Edison. Highland Park residents are 50,000 in New Brunswick and 100,000 in Edison. There are no commercial pot-free zones in Highland Park.
30 seconds.
People can put their shops wherever they want, with open arms from this borough and this mayor. Do you realize what that means? Open arms to what's happening in this town with no restrictions. No restrictions on where they can be, and you can see where they're located now. This is got to stop.
Hi, my name is Rachel Kinky. I'm over on Second Ave.
I'm sorry, your name is?
My name is Rachel Kinky, over on Second Ave. Thank you everybody for your reports and for all of your work. I'm a public historian, so I'm really excited to hear about that community history grant. The NJCH program is awesome, so looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. I also want to thank my neighbor for bringing up some wonderful questions. I was actually coming here tonight to hear more about what our county does to support immigrants from our community, both documented and undocumented. So thank you for the question. I look forward to hearing the answer.
Here's Al again. How are you folks? My neighbors, my friends, I love you all. I need a clarification. There's a fellow named Bill, and he's my neighbor, and Bill and I walk the town. We've been doing it for 5 years. We walk about 3 or 5 miles every day. We've met some wonderful people, and I've written blogs about them. Maybe you've read some of them. Anyway, one of the stops that we make, and I need your help, your clarification, one of the stops we make is a little deli right across from it's run by a Gujarati, okay? He's from Gujarat. By the way, I taught ESL in Franklin High School. I had many Patels in my class. So I know where Gujarat is and the culture. Anyway, it's run by Gujarati. The store across the street is a liquor store. You probably know what I'm talking about. Yes, no? Wave your hands. Yes, no? Well, in the store today, I discovered, and tell me that I'm wrong, and then, you know, my eyesight is shot, a dispensing machine for cannabis. Is that legal, officer? Could somebody check that out? All you need to do is either a credit card or put whatever number of money into the dispensing machine, and there it is. You make your choice for what cannabis comes out of that machine. It's like a cigarette machine. It blew my mind. Tell me I saw the wrong things. Please, somebody correct me. I'm not hearing from anybody. No, that's not. Do I have all your attention? Would somebody please check that out, come back to me one of these days and say, hey, Al, you're full of whatever, you know, are you right? But this is a new world we're into. We're into dispensing machines for cannabis? Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, and by the way, I came from Poland in 1947. I lived through the war. Okay, my father, fortunately, was born in America. He was taken back by his parents and it was an arranged marriage. I was a product of the marriage. Thank God, on the luckiest kind of world, he was able to get clearance from Poland and travel papers. It took him 2 years, and we arrived here. And I am here talking to you. I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I lived through World War II. And I'm here in America. And I tell you, it's the best country in the world. I'm a legal immigrant. I have papers. So you know which way I swing when it comes to immigrants, okay? I had a sponsor when we came here. That sponsor he was responsible for us, okay? And no one else, no government. We had to find it on our own. Thank God. So please help me with this cannabis machine. Tell me I'm wrong.
Alex, can you give us the address of the store or the name of the store?
I told you where it was. I'm not sure. Trousers.
Oh, Trousers.
What is it? Trousers.
Thank
It's on Brown there.
Thank you.
You know where it is? It's the Irving School is only 2 blocks away.
Okay, thank you. I have an idea.
You have an idea?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Mary Botion, I just wanted to follow up on the abstaining votes for the resolution 62. It's my understanding that per the rules of order, anyone who abstains on the vote is supposed to put a reason for that on the public record. Can you please verify that or indicate, is that accurate? If it's accurate, then the reasons for the abstentions need to be on the record tonight. It's easy to look up. Should be in the website.
Just a reminder, the borough attorney shared with you that we'll collect all the questions after the session is closed, and we'll answer questions. So if you're asking a person directly, that's not going to be done now. Borough attorney, you would want to go over the rules of order as it comes to public participation?
Yes, once everyone has asked their questions, we're going to close the public portion, and then the mayor is going to advise anyone from the dais, or she will respond to some of the questions.
So the answer regarding abstention, putting a reason on the public record tonight will be addressed after this closes this evening.
As we mentioned, once the public portion is completed, all the members of the public are on Zoom, and members of the public who are physically have answered all their questions. We will close the public portion, and then we will answer as many questions as we can with the information.
So again, you'll address this when it closes.
Again, once everyone has put their comments and their questions on the record, We're gonna close the public portion, and then whatever questions the mayor would like someone on the dais to respond, or she'll respond, and that's what the meeting is gonna go with.
I look forward to hearing the rules of order regarding abstention public record.
Sorry, anyone else?
Yeah, we have a hand up.
Sure.
It's coming up as Karen Amalik. Please state your name for the record, please.
Yes, this is Ken Analik again. So the last couple of meetings, my wife and I had questioned the possibility of putting timers on the flashing stop signs that have been erected on Madison and Cleveland Avenues. And at the last meeting, this was going to be looked into, but I didn't hear anything from the administrator's report. There was no report as far as anything being done. I believe you folks are going to speak with the police chief and the school about this. And I'm hoping that something is going to move ahead with this. But I hadn't heard anything, so I'm asking the same question again. The flashing stop signs are really quite a nuisance, especially at night, especially on weekends. And the solution would be very simple: to put timers on these flashing lights. I also, it's funny, I have a little more time with regard to the cannabis issue. I'm reminded of a movie that was called It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if you guys know this, maybe before some of your times, with Jimmy Stewart, very popular movie in its day. And here's a guy who's leading a very upstanding life, and he was going through a string of bad luck, and he wanted to end his life. And he was shown what would happen to the town had he not been born. And he was shown a dystopian looking town that was run by an evil kind of guy. And the name of the town, interestingly, was called Pottersville. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't reflect something that's going to happen to Highland Park. So that's it. That's what I have.
No other hands on there.
Seeing that there's no one else, may I have a motion to close the public participation?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han.
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
Borough Attorney, can you please answer the question regarding council members abstaining?
Yes, of course. And I want to go into a little bit of a background that has gone on in Highland Park. First of all, the rules of conduct, all of them have to be codified. They are currently not codified. And when it happens, we pass a resolution. And just for history's sake, there was a previous attorney who had a difference of an opinion. There was a work session that occurred last week where my colleague had basically sat in. And many of the rules I did not agree with. Abstention from, if a council person comes to the podium and votes as an abstain, they do not have to put a reason on. And I do not know why the previous attorney that was in my space had that opinion. He's not here for me to have a discussion with him. So in the process of, and we've amended from the comments of the work session, that an abstention, the reason for it is not required. That has been submitted to the mayor and has been submitted to the administration, to the clerk, for distribution to the council, and I have deleted that. So as far as today's meetings go, the council members do not have to explain their reasoning for abstaining.
Terry, we had discussed the last council meeting about the flashing, a couple of council meetings ago, and could you just explain the process, that it's not that we go out and flick a switch and it closes and that's it?
Correct, and as this is the first time we've used this type of device, there's a little bit of a learning curve. So we did have a conversation with the chief and Public Works, and we're trying to look into the capabilities of this particular model to see if it can have a timer. I do not believe timers are possible. We believe there's a possibility, there may be ability to dim based on time of day, but it depends on which model we have. We didn't install the sign. This is probably more information than you wanted. So we're trying to track back and work with the manufacturer to identify if the version we have has that capability. So I just don't have the answer. I didn't think to check in with Public Works before this meeting, so I apologize. We might actually know the answer. So we do have a way forward, and I'll certainly report back. And feel free, everybody don't mind me do so, but we'll have an update by the next meeting.
And then on the sign on North Fourth, we had Council Member George and Chief and Terry, maybe we should take a second look at that to see if there's an issue with that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. There has been discussion. We did have it on several agendas for the in the public safety. One of the things we realized, it's not only Mike, it's not only that sign. It's the one that faces that says no left turn. It's high up and mounted to the side. And one of the concerns we had is that when you're looking straight forward, getting away from the fact that people are just behaving the way they're going to behave. That sign is not really very visible, where although we still have problems with people making the left turn between 4 and 6 elsewhere, the signs are pretty squarely over the street. But it's a DOT issue. One of the things we determined when we're just discussing it is it's a DOT thing, so we're actually going to, in ongoing discussions, we don't want the North Fourth to blow up any other intersection like South Third. So, but we will try and piece it in with discussions to see if, can you move it, can you light it, can you do something with it, because I'm one of the victims of a North Fourth crossing incident, so I understand that, but we have discussed it. We're trying to locate the signs a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you. And anything else?
No.
Councilmember Hirsch?
Thank you, Mayor. Just on the no left turn on from 4th onto Raritan, I just wanted to echo the concern there. I mean, we'll remember that was a and I'm not on, and thank you for indulging me, I'm not on the Public Safety Committee, so this is really the only time that I can really get to comment on this stuff. But as a user of that traffic lane with kids who cross there, you know, to get to school, it's really important. DOT had created that no left turn following, you know, a pedestrian incident there. And that was supposed to, you know, kind of address it and make it safer, but it's while we now have a crossing guard there, which is amazing and I think essential, it doesn't, every time I'm at, you know, every time I'm on 4th waiting for that light, waiting to go straight, there's always someone turning left. So it could be, you know, kind of a public awareness issue or campaign. That might be something worth considering. I mean, I remember there was a time a few months ago where you literally couldn't drive into Edison without signs screaming that you were going to be jailed for burglarizing homes. I mean, that was their public awareness campaign. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. I mean, every access point into Edison, home burglaries, you will go to jail. That was a lot, you know, I think for motorists to kind of see, particularly without context, but that was a public awareness campaign. So guess what? I'm not involving myself in any home burglaries in Edison, and perhaps I won't be inclined to make a left turn onto Raritan from North Florida. So thank you.
Council President.
I think what Michael is referring to, if I don't want to speak to you, the sign has literally turned, because I drive that sign and I saw it, but I didn't.
You got twisted around like the wind.
Yeah, I think it's twisted from the wind. I think that's what he's saying.
Facing.
Yeah, it's not facing on 4th. It's like facing if you're, I don't know, north police officers. You know, I don't know which way, but it has turned, and I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, okay, thank you. Maybe DPW can take a look at it, Councilmember Hirsch, and have it face in the right direction, or is it the police department? A DOT.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh. Next year.
That's always the problem.
I can get a wrench.
Yeah, literally. I think you're right.
Michael, look the other way. Go ahead, please.
I didn't see it. DOT is like 2 years from now. Okay. questions were brought up about immigrant rights. What do we do with what are we doing on the website? The AG directive from 2007. I was a part of the one that was done in 2007. I was a part of the one that was done in 2016 and 2017. We do not have that up on our website. What the reso that was passed and what the AG, but I know many persons have reached out to me. I've sent them copies. What we can do going forward, there's a campaign going on. It's called the Right to Know. We will be putting information out and sharing that with our residents on the website. So that will be posted so you can see what the rights are for everybody that falls under the Department of Civil Rights. That's what I first spoke about when I started tonight, about how all the rights were just ripped apart. And in those rights that have been stripped and getting rid of Department of Civil Rights, all of those rights fall within that area. I did receive information from the county. There is information from the AG. We will be putting that out again and reposting it so everyone. I know the police department did reposted theirs as well. We had a conversation about a week ago or a week and a half ago with the chief, and he made sure he reposted that Highland Park police officers are not ICE officers. They will not be operating as ICE officers, and they'll not be taking any part of any of those activities. They are our police officers. They will not be participating in any kind of ICE raids or anything else like that. As I said, in 2007, the first one was done, then 2016, 2017. Maybe we just need to refresh that, take a link from the police department, link it back to us and what the police department will and will not do. The task force has Somerset since then, because it was a while ago, but our belief and our conviction and our stance is still the same. One second. So we talked about immigrant protection, safe place, alrighty. And Chief, I'm gonna task you, if you could take a look at that store that it may be Krauser's, where this machine may or may not be.
It's the old Krauser's, that's right. Thank you for mentioning the name. Krauser's were there one time.
Please take a look and get back to us, and you can get back to Councilmember George and just keep us in the loop with that. Councilmember George is in charge of public safety. And with that said, we have nothing else. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Our next scheduled meeting is February 18th at 7 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good night.